Welcome, members of the Huapai Golf Club. Welcome back. My name is Ella, and you are watching video number 2 of this short movement series by Ella Richardson Movement, created specially for this lockdown for you. So today's video is going to be a continuation of the first video. Now, if you have not watched that first video, I would highly recommend stopping this video, going back to the first one, watching that one, doing it, and then coming back to rejoin us here. For those that did do the first video, I'm happy to have you back. We'll be using the same props as we did in the first one. So that is a chair and a cushion. If you found that you really needed that chair in the last video, I might even recommend a second chair to put at the other end of your mat for what we have coming today. Also really helpful is to be next to a wall for what we have coming today as well. Not necessary if you feel confident in your balance. Also, you may not need the chair at all if you didn't need it in the first video. Okay, let's move on. So we are going to start today with those same ab and glute exercises that we did in the first video. It's a great way to warm up the body and to get all the core muscles firing, ready to power us through our movements, as well as to keep us stable and balanced as we move around. So that starts with the hands in behind the back of the head, interlock your fingers and bring your elbows all the way in around your temples. Press your feet down into the floor, and as you do that, can you feel a bit of tension being created up through the thighs or into the glutes or maybe into the abs? Or all of those. Just press your feet down and notice what that does for you. We want a bit of tension in the body because the body works as a whole unit. And it works best when we encourage it to work as a whole unit like that. So let's give it a helping hand. Push those feet down. Bring your elbows in around your temples. Take a big breath in. And as you exhale, come up off your shoulders. To get up off your shoulders, you want to think about lifting your chest up to the sky. And once you're there, we're going to continue that feeling of lifting, but think about lifting your elbow tips up to the ceiling, like someone is pulling on them as if you're a puppet. And then keep that same height, but lean your head heavy into your hands. And that's going to encourage your abs to work more instead of your neck and shoulder muscles trying to take over. Breathe steadily here. We're just holding another breath or two, pressing your feet down, reaching up through the elbow tips, leaning the head heavy. On your next inhalation, lower down to the floor. Exhale, come straight back up into that position again. Reach the elbows up, lean the head heavy, press the feet down. 2 full breaths here. On every exhalation, reach your elbow tips up a little higher. 1 more breath. And on your inhale, come back down to the floor. Exhale, come up off the shoulders, lean the head, press the feet. Reach your right arm now, parallel with that right leg. Reach forward into those right fingertips, making your arm longer all the way from the shoulder blade. Keep leaning your head into your left hand, reaching up into that left elbow tip, pushing the feet down. Breathe. On your next inhale, return your hand behind the head and come down to the floor with the head. Exhale, come up off the shoulders. Reach your left arm parallel with that left leg. Make the arm longer all the way from the shoulder blade. Reach up into that right elbow tip and lean the head heavy into the hand. 2 breaths here. Press your feet down. 1 more breath. As you inhale, come back to the floor, and exhale, come back up into that position. Right arm reaches, the same thing as we did just before. This is our last round on each side. Make your right arm longer from the shoulder blade. Reach your left elbow tip up a little higher, head heavy into that left hand. 2 full breaths here, pressing your feet down. You might check in as well with your jaw. Check that you are able to soften your jaw so that you're not clenching your jaw muscles and taking some of that work away from your ab muscles. On your next inhale, return your hand and come down to the floor. Last one. Exhale, come up off the shoulders. Left arm straightens. Reach up, forward into that left hand and up into that right elbow. And head is heavy in the right hand. Press the feet down. Breathe. Last breath. And inhale, come back down. Whew. And give a big sigh of relief. That burns in the abs, doesn't it? I find it does too. Okay, now we're going to do our glute warm up. So take your feet a little bit wider than what they just were. Turn your toes outwards. Bring your hands onto the fronts of your hips. Remember that when we come up into the glute bridge, we don't want to do a back bend. We want to keep a nice solid straight line all the way from the shoulders diagonally up to the knees. So when you come up, we're going to exhale to do that, pushing down into the heels to generate that movement. So exhale, push down into the heels and push your hips up into your hands. As you inhale, you're slowly coming back down to the floor with the pelvis. Exhale, push. Inhale, slowly coming back down. Exhale, push. Inhale, slowly returning down. Exhale, push. Slowly coming down, inhale. Exhale, push. Slowly coming down. Another 5 of those. Push, 5, coming down. Push, 4, inhale to come down. Push, 3, inhale to come down. Push, 2, inhale to come down. Push, 1, and that's the last time. Awesome. All right, while we're here, we're just going to do a quick little hip warm-up, different to what we did in video 1. It's a little bit shorter because I want to move on. So you're going to keep your left leg where it is and bring your right knee over top of the right hip, creating a 90-90 angle here. 90 degrees at the hip, 90 degrees at the knee. Now put your right forefinger on top of your kneecap and picture like you could draw a straight line from the ceiling down through where your finger is pointing, down through your thigh bone, all the way into your pelvis. Imagine like that line is an axis. You're going to turn, or you're going to rotate your thigh bone around that axis. And I'm talking about rotation and an axis because it's quite common for people to approach this exercise and end up swinging their kneecap like a pendulum on a clock, left and right. And I'll show you what that looks like from this view. So this is a pendulum movement, side to side, and we do not want this movement. Instead, we're going to create that axis with the visualization of the fingertip on the kneecap, and we're going to rotate the thigh bone around that axis. So you can start to explore what it feels like to rotate the thigh bone inwards and outwards. And you'll notice that when you rotate the thigh bone outwards, that swings the foot across to be on top of the other, or to be just above the other knee. And when you rotate the thigh bone inwards, it kind of kicks that foot out at a weird angle away from the body. So just move between these two extremes of your internal and external rotation. It can also help to bring your spare fingers of the other hand down into your hip crease, deep into that hip crease, so you can feel the movement happening there, and you can visualize the movement starting from there, that rotational movement. All right, that's enough on the right side. Let's do that on the left side. So bring your left knee over top of your hip, create a 90-degree angle at the hip and at the knee. Left forefinger on top of the kneecap to act like an axis, and then start to rotate the thigh bone slowly at first until you get used to it. Rotate it around the axis, trying to keep that kneecap in exactly the same spot. Don't let it swing like a pendulum from side to side. Keep it in the same spot as you're rotating the thigh bone. And as a result, that means that the shin and the foot will be swinging from side to side like a windscreen wiper. I call these windscreen wipers. And the difference between just swinging your foot and shin around and really thinking about the movement being generated down at the bottom at the base of your thigh bone, that difference is huge. It really gets more muscles involved in creating this rotation down in the hip. So do what you can to visualize that movement starting down where the femur comes into the pelvis. All right, there we go. That's nice and warm now. So we're going to come up from the floor up into a kneeling position. Now for this, you're going to want a cushion probably under the knee that's on the floor. And you may need the wall to hold onto for balance to come into this lunge shape. So we're doing what I call a low lunge. You're going to bring your right knee onto the cushion and step your left foot forward into this low lunge. Once you're in this position, check that your foot and your knee are on train tracks. That means that we're not trying to bring our foot and knee onto the same tightrope line. We are spacing them as if they're on train tracks, and that's going to help with your balance a lot. Later on, we're going to be taking this position up off the floor, so we're just on our 2 feet, and it's going to be even more important then that you're aware of what I mean when I'm talking about feet on train tracks. Okay, now the next thing that I want to look at is before we stay here and do our things here, is the position of the pelvis. So if you have come into this and your torso is leaned forward like this, then I want you to see what you can do to bring that torso upright a little bit more. And that might mean shifting where that front foot is. Maybe you need to bring that foot a little bit closer. Test out and see what you can change in your positioning to bring your shoulders so that they're directly over top of your hips. And you need to also make sure that your hips are directly over top of this bottom knee. This is a strong lunge. And if you've ever done yoga before, which I'm very familiar with as a yoga teacher, it's quite common to come into a lunge shape like this. I call this a stretchy lunge, and we're not doing a stretchy lunge today. We're doing a strong lunge. So once you have found your position, you're going to make a fist with your left hand and bring it behind you on top of your right buttock. That's the buttock that belongs to this knee that's on the floor. Make a fist on top of the buttock and then squeeze your buttock up into that fist. So that's going to be your brain's little cue to keep that buttock on. Your right arm is just going to reach forward and up. And once it's up, you're going to try and make that arm longer all the way from the shoulder blade, reaching it up to the ceiling, kind of uncorking that shoulder. Now give that right glute another squeeze up into the fist and take a couple of breaths here. So it should be quite a stretch across the front of the right hip. If you don't feel that stretch, here's an alternative. Instead of reaching your right arm up, you can grab your left thigh bone or thigh with that right hand and pull the thigh or the skin of the thigh forward toward the kneecap. And that will really increase that stretch across the front of the right hip for you. That right glute is still on. All right, we're going to change this up now. We're going to take it from a low lunge on the floor to a high lunge. There are different ways that you can do this. The first, most simple way, but the most challenging, which I don't expect everybody to be able to do by a long shot, but I'm offering it first in case there are some that can do it. The first option is to simply hands on hips and to push down into your front and back feet to lift up into a high lunge here. Now that can be really tricky. It might also create some sensations in the knee that we don't like. So if that's you, I have 2 other options for you. You're going to use your chair as option number 1 and push down into the chair, grip the sides, push down into the chair to help take off some of that load as you come into an upright position. Option number 3, I'll show you option number 2 another couple of times. So option number 2 is push down into the chair and power yourself up into this kind of forward leaning lunge here. One thing to notice when we power up into this forward leaning lunge is that the knee stays over top of the ankle, and as a result we have come into a hip hinge here in the left hip with a forward body lean, and that's great. That's part of this method of getting up. And finally, If you feel brave to not use the chair, you can put your hands on top of your thigh. You're going to do the same movement. You're going to power down, you push down into your hands and into that front foot and straighten that back knee off the floor. Allow your body to tip forward into a lean, which means that you've taken pressure off that front knee because instead your hip has done a hinge backwards. Once you're up in this forward lean, whether you use the chair or your buttress on your leg, then you're going to bend into that back knee to come upright into this high lunge position here. In this high lunge, we're going to do the same thing. Bring your left fist behind you onto your buttock or above your buttock and squeeze your buttock up into that fist so you really use the power of that glute to help keep you stable. If you're wobbling about like a madman, your chair is there to help you, or the wall is there to help you, and never mind about the fist on the glute. More important to be able to hold your balance here and just tell your glute to turn on. All right, we're going to turn the feet to the right into our sumo stance that we did in the last video. That is a wide stance with the feet, toes turned out, little bend for buoyancy here, and the pelvis is nice and neutral and our chest is up. Right, this is our sumo stance. Now we're going to take this all to the back of the mat. So if you needed your chair, you're going to need it on this side or your second chair. If you didn't need the chair, don't worry about it. I'm going to move mine just so that there's a visual for those that are using theirs. All right, so from your sumo, you're going to turn all the way to the right. Now we have started in this high position on the right. So it's a little bit back to front. I don't actually want to spend too long here. I do want to start from the ground up. So straight away, let's bring that left knee. If you need the chair, hold on to it. Bring that left knee down to the floor. All right. Once you're there, check again. Feet and knee are on train tracks. Check your pelvis, that you're able to see that there's a vertical line from shoulders, hips to knee. All right. Bring your right fist behind you onto your left glute. Squeeze it. Get it working hard. Left arm reaches forward and up for that nice little stretch across the front of the hip. And uncork that left shoulder, really making that left arm longer all the way from the shoulder blade. For those who wanted that option 2 to get more stretch into the front of the left hip, if you preferred that, you can go ahead instead and grab that right thigh and pull it forward into the kneecap. So those are 2 options, arm up or grabbing that thigh and pulling it forward. One last breath here, squeezing that left glute hard. All right, now we're going to do that maneuver to get up into the high lunge. So for those who are able to, hands on the hips and come straight up in a vertical line. Otherwise, you have your option of hands on the leg for a buttress. And as you push off that back knee, your body leans forward, back leg straightens, and your chest is facing the floor. Spine is in a straight line. From there, it's a second move to bend that back knee and come upright into your lunge shape. For those who are using the chair, very similar. Grab the chair, push down, lift that back knee off into this forward lean shape. And then you can keep holding the chair or let go as you bend into that back leg to come into an upright position. Squeeze wherever you are. I hope that we're all in this upright lunge now. Reach behind you with that right fist on top of the left glute. Squeeze it hard. And this is a great strong position for a lunge here. You might still feel that stretch across the front of that left hip as well in this position. All right, turn to the left into your sumo shape. Here. Okay, we are going to possibly leave behind the option of bringing the knee down to the floor with what is coming next. If your knee was completely happy doing that, then you can keep doing that in what I'm about to show you. If you have funky knees or really wobbly balance, then you do not need to bring the knee down to the floor in what we have coming next. I just want to make that really clear to you. This is important it's really important to work within the boundaries of what your body can do. That those boundaries can always change with more and more practice and training, but you have to respect where it's at right now. Okay, so we're going to move through what I call a 180-degree lunge. This is where it's really going to be useful to have 2 chairs if you needed those chairs for balance. If you didn't need them, you can move them out of the way. So in your 180 lunge, we're going to be moving or turning in your movement space from a lunge facing one way through your sumo stance and then moving into a lunge facing the other way. So it's going to go like this. From your sumo stance now, we're going to pivot on the feet towards the left so that the left foot is in front. As you pivot, you're going to turn up that back foot to bring the heel off the floor into your high lunge shape here. Make sure you squeeze that right glute that's behind you, and you might instantly feel your balance suddenly fix itself. This is where you have an option, everybody. If your knee is fine, you can use the chair to bring that back knee down, or you can just use your leg or hands on your hips. Those were the three options, and we've already gone through them, but I'll do them one more time this first time round. After this, you're on your own. You should know which option you're doing. So if you're doing hands on your hips, that means that your knee can come vertically down to the floor with no issues. And then you're going to do a little light kiss toward the floor, or you might just go halfway down and a little bop and then back up again. That's your option one. Option two, for those who are using the buttress, you're going to first of all lean your body forward and then tap the knee down, and you can come upright as the knee comes down. And then you go back to the forward lean lunge and then bend that back knee back into your upright lunge again. So it's a bit of a tick-tock. I'll show that to you again. Hand as a buttress means first of all, lean forward to straighten that back leg. Right knee comes down and your body comes upright. Push off that back knee, body leans forward, and bend a little bit into that back knee to come back upright again. And you can do those same movements with your chair. I'm going to pretend like I have a chair here. Hold onto your chair, and it's going to be first of all a straightening the back knee to lean the body forward movement, and then back knee taps down, straighten the back knee, lean the body forward, and come upright. Okay, we're not going to spend this long in the lunge each time. This is just to talk you guys through it. Now we're going to turn to the right, back into that sumo lunge with the bent knees, wide feet turned out, and keep turning to the right for the lunge at the other end of the movement space. Now we have the right foot forward and the left heel needs to pivot off the floor. So we're just on the back toes. And the same options here. So if your hands on the hips, your knee's going to come straight down and up. For those who are using the buttress or the chair, whichever of those two options, you're going to first lean the body to straighten that back leg, then bring the knee to the floor. Then straighten that back leg to come back up off the floor with the body, lean forward and come upright again. Very robotic. Great, clear messages for how you want your hips to be moving. And from there, we're turning back to the left for our sumo. And now you can start to do this at your own pace, or you can follow with me. I'm going to keep showing you the buttress option because it's sort of like the middle ground between the two. So we're going to turn to the left for our left high lunge. Squeeze that right glute. If you're doing buttress with me, hands go on that left thigh. Straighten that back knee with a forward lean of the torso. Tap the right knee toward or onto the floor and come upright with the torso. And then straighten that back leg, body leans forward again, and then come upright with a small bend in that back leg. Turn to the right for your sumo. Turn to the right again for your right high lunge. Squeeze that back glute, back heel off the floor. Now we're going to tap that back knee down. With the buttress arm option, we're going to lean forward, straighten that back leg, tap the knee to the floor or toward the floor. Straighten that back leg with a forward lean of the body and come upright, little bend of that back knee. Turn to the left for your sumo stance. Now you might be getting the hang of this. You can move at your own pace at any time. I'm going to show you 2 more times. Turn to the left for the lunge. Squeeze that right glute, hands on the left leg. Straighten the back knee, body leans forward. Knee taps to the floor, body upright. Straighten the back knee, body leans forward. Come upright, little bend of the back knee. Turn to the right, sumo. Turn to the right, lunge with your right foot forward, left heel off the floor. Squeeze the left glute. Hands on the right thigh. Lean forward, straighten that back leg. Tap the left knee down, come upright with the body. Straighten that back knee, lean the body forward. Come upright, little bend in that back knee. Turn to the left, sumo. Last time on each side, guys. Turn to the left for your lunge and squeeze that right glute. Hands on the left thigh, buttress. Lean the body forward, straighten that back knee. Tap the back knee down, body upright. Straighten that back knee, lean the body forward. Come upright with the body, little bend in that back knee. Turn to the right for sumo. Turn to the right for your last lunge on this side. Hands on the right thigh, squeeze that left glute. Lean the body forward, straighten that back knee. Keep squeezing that back glute. Come upright with the body as the knee taps down. Lean the body forward to straighten that back knee. And come upright with a little bend in that left knee in your high lunge. Turn back to sumo. Okay, guys. So now we're going to bring all of that together with the same movements that we did in the last video. Hopefully you remember what they are. I will talk you through them, but we're going to be going through at a pace similar to how we finished with in video 1. This cushion can stay where it is. You're going to start at one end of your mat. Choose which is your front end. This is my front end here. You're going to come with your right knee, or whichever knee is closest to the screen that you're watching. That's my right knee. So if that's not yours, you might want to switch ends of your movement space right now so that you can be with my rights and lefts as well. All right, so lift your right knee up into that knee strike. We're not going to do the internal rotation this time. We're just going to move on with the bigger movements. So this is your right knee strike here. Then we're going to step that right foot back behind us through that fighter stance, turning your feet to parallel, bending into your right knee, but keep it over your ankle and take your right hip back behind you for a side lunge. Tap your right knee or bent knee with your opposite hand. From there, you're going to swivel your feet to the right to come into your lunge and let your body come upright. Back knee bends a little bit so that we're in this upright, strong lunge here. Squeeze that left glute. Now you're going to tap that left knee down to the floor. So if you're doing buttress arms, you're going to lean the body forward to straighten that back knee. Tap the knee down, come upright with the body. Lean the body forward as that back knee straightens off the floor, and then come back upright with a little bend of that back knee. Turn back to sumo stance. Turn back to the front. And here, you're going to step into that left foot to bring that right knee in front of you. You can always use your chair. That can be tricky for balance. Take that right foot back, land it down into your fighter stance. Then swivel the feet, and we're bending into that same side that we did before. Right hip goes back, right knee bends, left leg straight. Tap your right knee with your opposite hand. As you come upright, swivel the feet to the right into your high lunge. Little bend of that back knee, squeeze that back glute. Drop that left knee down. So if you're doing the buttress, lean forward, straighten that back leg. Knee taps down, upright with the body. Knee straightens, forward with the body. And back upright with the body, little bend of the knee. Back to sumo. Turn to the left into your lunge at the front, facing the front of your movement space. Put your weight or step into your left foot to go into your right knee strike. And then back where it came from, that right foot. Heel down, turn to the right. Side lunge on that right side, right hip back, right knee stays above the ankle. Left hand reaches for the leg. Turning to the right. This is the final time on this side, then we'll do the sequence on the other side. High lunge facing the back of your space. We're bringing that left knee down for the last time. So that might be your lean forward with the buttress. And then knee taps down, come upright. Lean forward as the knee comes up and come upright with a little bend in that back knee. Turn back to sumo. Last time, we're going to finish at the top of the movement space. Turn to the left for your lunge shape facing the front of your movement space. Right glute is strong and on. Step into your left foot, knee strike, and now put your right foot next to your left. Whew, I'm out of breath. I hope you guys are too. We're going to do that all on the other side. So the chair is my way of showing you what the front of my movement space is. Okay. We're going to stand into the right foot, lift the left knee up for a left knee strike. Always you can use the chair for balance. Take that left foot carefully back behind you into the fighter stance. Parallel the feet. Bend into the left knee, right leg straightens for side lunge. The left knee stays over the ankle. Give it a little tap with your opposite hand. Now, as you come upright, you're turning on the feet to the left to face your high lunge toward what is now the back of your movement space. Make sure the right glute is on. Now we're going to tap that right knee down. So if you're doing a buttress like me, that means hands on the thigh. Lean the body forward to straighten that back leg. Squeeze the right glute still. Tap the right knee down. Body is upright. Back leg straightens. Body is leaning forward. Come upright with the body. Little bend in that back knee. Turn to the right for sumo. Turn to the right for a lunge facing the front of your movement space again. We're going to squeeze that left glute. Step into the right foot to bring that left knee forward in a knee strike. Coming right back the way we came. Left foot steps back, heel down. Turn to the left. Parallel your feet or turn the feet slightly out. And side lunge, left knee bends, right leg straight. Little tap from hand to opposite leg. Turning to the left for that lunge at the back of the mat. Little bend in the right knee, right glute on. We're going to bring that right knee down, so hands on your thigh. Straighten that back leg for a forward lean. Tap the right knee down, body upright. Straighten that back leg for a forward lean. Come upright, little bend of that back knee. Turn to the right for sumo. Turn to the right for your lunge at the front of your space. Step into the right foot to bring that left knee into your knee strike and take it slowly back with control. Land the toes, land the heel. Turn to the left, side lunge, bending into that left knee, left hip goes way back. Right leg straightens. Come upright as you turn to the left. Bending, little bend of that right knee, right glute on. Hands on your thigh, buttress, lean forward, straighten that back knee. Tap your right knee down, body comes upright. Straighten that back knee for a forward lean of the body. Turn, come upright. Turn to the right, turn to the right, and left knee strike. This is the last time, guys. Slowly take your left foot back behind you. Spin that heel down, turn to the right, and a side lunge, bending that left knee straight, the right leg. Come upright as you keep turning to the left. Lunge facing the back. Squeeze that right glute. Hands on your thigh for a buttress. Forward lean to straighten that back knee. Come upright to tap the right knee down. Forward lean as that right leg straightens again. Come back upright, little bend of that right knee. Turning back to our sumo. To the right. Turning back to our lunge, facing the front. Left glute is on. And now, last knee strike with the left knee coming up in front of us. And step that left foot next to the right. Whew. Well done, everybody. Whew. I've got quite a heat on. I hope you do too. It's amazing what we can do just with our bodies. Now, that is the final video in this hip sequence. Next week, I'm going to have a new focus for you all. I hope that you all come and join me. It was a pleasure filming this for you. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.